All right, AEW All In is in the books. And overall, I thought it was a very good pay per view. It delivered. I thought 81,000 plus, the crowd was into it, contrary to the great photographs that came out at around 11, 12 o'clock when nobody was in Wembley Stadium. And oh, they must have been telling us lies. Come on, man. Nobody gets there that early. And AEW, it was a long day of pro wrestling. I'm on the East Coast, so for me, it started at 11 in the morning with the AEW YouTube channel. They started the show. They had the Hobbs and Miro contract signing there, and then also the Jeff Jarrett big show, or Paul White. I'm sorry, Paul White, Anthony Gogo, Grotto whole fiasco that was there. Then it went over to, and I'm not sure if it stayed. I believe it left the YouTube channel at that time. I switched back over to what uh, I was watching it on, which was Bleacher Report Live, and watched Zero Hour, which started with the ROH Tag Team Champions at the time, Aussie Open, taking on We Are Better Than You, Baby. And we saw the kangaroo kick, and we saw the finish. The double clothesline wins the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships for We Are Better Than You, Baby. And they are your new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Title change one of the night. And then it got into a match for the FTW Championship, which apparently has caused a little bit of backstage stir up, depending on where you want to look at. And Sean Ross Sapp at Fightful was reporting that there was a altercation backstage. Tony Khan confirmed that as well during the press conference and said that investigation is ongoing. And if you're asking what I'm talking about, Jack Perry came out in I guess a European limousine, however you want to call that. And then they fought back, him and Hook, toward the window area, the windshield area. He did a plancha onto Hook on the window. And then Hook also suplexed Jack Perry into the windshield at that time, fracturing, and it didn't bust, but it cracked. And but before that, Jack Perry pounds on the windshield and says, "Yes, it's real glass. Cry me a river." Paraphrasing. It wasn't exactly there, but and that was in supposed what happened behind the scenes at an AEW collision where he wanted to do something with real glass. Creative Tony Schiavone, CM Punk, and others did not. And it created a little stir up at a collision taping. Apparently, that reared its ugly head last night. I haven't looked at any accounts since then. The last one I saw was that Jack Perry was asked to leave Wembley Stadium. Apparently, he bumped into CM Punk as CM Punk was heading out to his match with Samoa Joe, which kicked off the main card of AEW All In and led to, again, different reports. So here I'll see what was said and comment more on that. And then plus Tuesday nights, myself and Frankie Fresco, we talk everything pro wrestling on the Squared Circle Digest. Make sure you check the link and follow me on all my social media platforms at Sean_Stanley11. So now the main card gets underway. CM Punk defends the Real World Championship against Samoa Joe. Very hard-hitting contest. To me, it was not your normal AEW first match of a pay-per-view. It was more, WWE-esque type match to start the AEW pay-per-view. Not saying the crowd wasn't into it. The crowd was very into it. Samoa Joe very over with the crowd. CM Punk got his, the reaction that he's been getting, the mixed reaction. There's boos, there's cheers. They're happy to see him when his music hits. Then during the match, it's kind of up and down as far as cheers and boos, but never once was there not a reaction in this match. They go back and forth. Finally, CM Punk does get the victory. And overall, I thought the match was good. I just questioned a little bit of the beginning of this pay per view. Okay. And then when you look at it, you've got CM Punk in the first match, you've got Omega and Page in the second match, and you got the Young Bucks in the third match. So to me, it was kind of odd. But then also, as you watched the pay per view unfolded, you saw more pyro at night, which you got to wait for the darkness to come. You got to wait till nightfall. So again, when I first thought about this, and that's why I kind of wait and do these the morning after. I call them the morning after reports to kind of take everything in and look at it. Because when I first looked at it, I was like, hey, was this kind of like a punishment type thing because of these three? What happened, you know, last time, the brawl out. And but ultimately, when you look at these three matches, again, they are all involved in the creative process. Maybe they needed more help on the pay per view, get their matches in and done early in the card, so they're available to help out later in the card. But I found it, at the beginning when I first watched the pay per view, odd that your first three matches were everybody that was involved pretty much in the brawl out. So CM Punk wins, keeps his title, probably heading to take on Ricky Starks. I'm going to guess in a strap match at All Out, which is next Sunday. So we'll see what happens there, how they lead into that match. Um, then it was Adam Page, Ibushi, Omega taking on Bullet Club Gold and Takeshita. Again, this match started very slow, a lot of feeling out process. Then it started going. You started seeing all their signature moves, the hard hitting, the V triggers, all that came into play. One thing you got to do on this match, go to where there's about a minute and a half left and just watch it from there. Fantastic timing on the finish. Takeshita catches Kenny Omega with a roll up and defeats Kenny Omega in Wembley Stadium. And now will lead to a match which we found out during the press conference. Takeshita will take on Kenny Omega at AEW All Out. But the ending of this trios match, tremendous timing. Tremendous timing. And you really, I didn't think that Takeshita would get the pin on Omega. I'm not going to sit there and lie. I thought you had Juice Robinson there to take the pin and send the fans, happy with Kenny Omega, Ibushi, and Page winning. Kudos to the producer of that match, Tony Khan, Kenny Omega, Takeshita for executing as well. But the finish of that match, the timing of that match at the end was great. So if you do yourself a favor, watch the last minute and a half of that match. You'll thank me later. Then it was the AEW World Tag Team Championship. FTR takes on the Young Bucks in the final match. Each one had a victory, and this one goes the way of FTR, which surprised me a little bit. I did think, with everything that was happening with Cash Wheeler, the Young Bucks, this was going to be the time for them to finally maybe get their run at the top of the tag team division, since they haven't really done that in a while. I was wrong. FTR gets the victory, Shatter Machine, and they win. They go for the handshake at the end. Young Bucks do not, so this is probably far from over. But right now, FTR holds a 2-1 advantage over the Young Bucks. Then it was the crazy match, violent match, blood, the Stadium Stampede match. There was everything. There was skewers. There was barbed wire, I believe, bats. I believe there was barbed wire chairs, ladders, tables, glass. chain, guardrails, you name it, it was used. And I believe, let's see, both best friends were busted open. Orange Cassidy was busted open. Eddie Kingston was busted open. Of course, John Moxley was busted open on that side. Not sure. I don't believe Wheeler Yuta ever bled. I believe Moxley might have been the only one that bled on that side. Wheeler Yuta maybe, but overall, man, just kicked each other's ass all over Wembley Stadium. There were some great spots. You had the skewer spot with Moxley and Penta. Penta gets hurt, goes away, comes back as Penta Escuro, um, takes out Santana, and Orange Cassidy tapes up his fist backwards with a duct tape, puts the glass on it, and ends up pinning Cesaro, which was to me, again, one of the things where in that match, I kind of thought Wheeler Yuta was the guy that was going to get pinned. It surprised me that the international champion pinned the Ring of Honor champion. So we'll see if that goes anywhere. As of right now, it is not. As on Wednesday night at Dynamite during the press conference, this was also announced. It will be Penta taking on Orange Cassidy, with the winner of that match going to AEW All Out as the international champion to take on John Moxley. So that another match confirmed for All Out. And Orange Cassidy was the winner of that match for his team, pinning the Ring of Honor champion, Cesaro. So we'll see if that goes, or actually Claudio. I'm sorry. I keep saying Cesaro, man. Claudio. And we'll see if that goes anywhere. Because again, does Moxley win the international championship? Orange Cassidy move over to fight for the Ring of Honor? Does Penta win the international championship? And then Orange Cassidy goes. Orange Cassidy's had a great run as the international champion. We'll see if that continues this week on AEW Dynamite. Then it was Saraya in her hometown in front of her family came out to We Will Rock You at Wembley Stadium. Anybody that knows music knows that's a big thing there. It's a big thing there in England. She took on Toni Storm, Britt Baker, and Sheeta. Baker had Sheeta in the lockjaw. Saraya comes in with spray paints into Toni Storm's face, hits her with her finish, gets the 1-2-3. We'll see where this goes, because I did think that they would keep the Outcast together longer. Toni Storm started doing her own little thing a little bit with her Marilyn Monroe type character that she's been on. You saw Outcast kind of break up. We'll see where they go with that on AEW Dynamite. We'll see what happens there. But Saraya is your new AEW Women's Champion. And I did not have Saraya picked to win this match. I thought they were going to go more with the Outcast style thing. And I thought, one of them would cost the other, honestly. I thought, I honestly, I'll tell you now, if you watched our show, Square Circle Digest, I thought Britt Baker was leaving the AEW Women's Champion. Adam Cole was leaving the AEW Heavyweight Champion. I thought the it couple of AEW were going to be champions. You'll find out later, wrong on both ends. As Saraya is now your AEW Women's Champion. Then it was the casket match, Sting and Darby Allin taking on Swerve and Christian. A lot of good stuff in this match. Again, it's a coffin match. It's, Sting does his thing as always. Darby Allin, I hurt watching his matches. I hurt watching his matches. But this match delivered. But I will say this. I think it's Prince Nana. You need to get in that protest. You watch, I'm pointing right at you, Prince Nana. Get the protest in. Swerve, the braids were sticking out of the casket. He was not all the way in the casket. Get a protest. Put it under protest, buddy. But Darby Allin and Sting win as he does a coffin drop with Swerve half in and half out of the coffin. And then they roll him in, and Sting and Darby Allin in Wembley take out Swerve and Christian in the casket match. Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. I thought this was going to be, a possible match of the night. It delivered. The match delivered, but there was a couple of miscues. I think some mistiming. There was a part where Jericho, I don't know if he was doing the moonsault, and Will Ospreay was, or he was doing an Aussie cutter, and Will Ospreay was too far away, but it looked like he was trying to hit the Oz cutter, but at the same time, it looked like he was trying to hit a moonsault. Not sure what that was. There's just a couple little mistiming things, which will happen from time to time, man. It's a live performance. It is a live performance. Things are going to happen. Miscues are going to happen. But overall, I thought it was a great match. And then watching Jericho now, he's becoming what Terry Funk was to ECW. You know, he came in, he was their champion at the first pay per view, he became the champion, and then it was about the younger talent. And Chris Jericho is just, he makes you feel, right? Because at the end of the match, he pushes Sammy away, he leaves all by himself. Sammy, the only person who stayed by him, left in the ring by himself now as Jericho leaves a little bit distraught after coming up short on the pay-per-view. But that's been the thing, right, for Chris Jericho lately, is he just comes up just a little bit short at the pay-per-views. But kudos to him getting the young talent up, and Will Ospreay. We'll see if he signs with AEW, but to me, they put a full court press on him. He's going to become a free agent, and I think I see him coming to AEW more than likely. We'll see what happens. Or maybe he does a deal where he's at AEW half the time and New Japan half the time. We'll have to see what Tony Khan does or what they will allow. Afterwards, it was the Trios Championship. The Acclaimed and badass Billy Gunn makes his return, taking on the House of Black, and was a no the Acclaimed. And this was a good match, man. This was everything that the Trios Championship, what the House of Black has made the Trios Championship. And at the end, Daddy Ass and the Acclaimed pick up the victory. House of Black grab the belts and they hand them over. Respectfully, by the way, to Daddy Ass and the Acclaimed. And it's a big scissor party at the end. 81,000 plus in Wembley Stadium having a scissor party with the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, as they are your new Trios champions. Another title change. I believe there was 4 on the night, which was the ROH Tag Team Championships, the FTW Championship. You had the Women's Championship and the Trios Championship. All change hands in Wembley. And then your main event, MJF. You aren't on the level of the devil, taking on Adam Cole, baby. And I will tell you something. This match kind of caught me off guard a little bit with the way it was constructed. I thought MJF would go back to kind of the MJF tactics to keep the title. And they flipped it on me. They had Adam Cole do everything that he could to try and win the title until he realized, oh, I might have went too far with the spot on the stairs, right? After that move, it kind of changed a little bit. But then Roderick Strong comes out, and he hit he kicks MJF, low blow, gets out. Technically, Adam Cole, we can say he didn't see that. He didn't know that. He sees MJF down. Roddy's yelling at him, get him, get him, get him. He hits the sunrise, the knee to the back of the head. 1, 2, MJF kicks out. And then they go and they do a double clothesline, and both guys get pinned. The referee declares it a draw. And I'll tell you right now, I was throwing stuff in my office. I was like, there's no way they're doing this. Please don't let it in like this. And then, of course, we know what happens. He asks for 5 more minutes. MJF says, no, we're going all freaking night long until we have a winner here at Wembley. Restart the match. Adam Cole has the title, decides against using it, throws it out of the ring. Goes to pick up MJF. Small cradle. 1, 2, 3. MJF still your All Elite Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. And then at the end, of course, the hug happens and everybody's happy. Everybody except Roderick Strong in the Kingdom. So I think you'll see that as your possible another match added to AEW All Out. Maybe the Kingdom taking on Adam Cole and MJF. We are better than you, baby. So we'll see how that happens. Overall, I thought this was a high B, 89, 88, 90, 91, 92. High B to an A pay-per-view, 81,000 plus. All I can say is kudos to All Elite Wrestling. Kudos to Tony Khan. Kudos to the performers. And for all of you haters out there that were hating on AEW for sitting empty shots of Wembley Stadium at 11:30 Eastern time, shame on you, man. Enjoy wrestling. It's a good time to enjoy some wrestling. Just enjoy it, man. Quit being haters. Congratulations to Tony Khan. Congratulations to AEW. And great job. And also Wembley. Next year, August 25th, they're back. It's AEW All In once again at Wembley Stadium. Don't forget Tuesday nights, Squared Circle Digest. Check us out. Myself, Frankie Fresco. And we'll have updates here after the morning after reports, after Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, and then this week, of course. This is a great week of pro wrestling. Starts tonight, Monday Night Raw, Tuesday, NXT, Wednesday, Dynamite, Friday, SmackDown, Friday, also Rampage. Then you go into Saturday. You've got Collision. You've got WWE Payback. And then, of course, AEW All Out ends it on Sunday. It is a wrestling week here on the Squared Circle Digest. Don't forget you can tune in here. Sports Talk with Sean Stanley, talking South Florida sports, NASCAR, and, of course, some pro wrestling. And in the words of the great Gordon Soley, as I always do here on the Squared Circle Digest, so long from the Sunshine State.